Hey, Gator Nation, welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. Guys, it's Vanderbilt week. As always, I'm your boy Hirsch. With me, my two excellent co-hosts, CJ the Man McCann.
What's up, guys?
And the not so hype tonight, Wes.
Press West.
The Press West is in the house tonight, guys. Guys, for those of you that might have been wondering why we didn't do Raw Reaction for this week, Mama told me a long time ago, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. It wasn't going to be a good show. It was going to be three guys angry as hell complaining about everything. And I know y'all by that point y'all had enough of that already on Sunday and Monday. Y'all had your own grievances to air, and it wasn't going to do no good to listen to everybody complain. So, taking a few days, a little reflection time. We're going to talk about this week. We'll talk about a few things, as far as our takes coming out of Kentucky and what we think needs to change going forward. With that being said, guys, make sure you go out, download us wherever you get your podcast from. And if you're watching us on YouTube, guys, this is your first time checking out the channel, go ahead, drop a subscribe on the video, like, and hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time we upload new content. Guys, let's jump right into it, man. Got some recruiting stuff we need to talk about first. We got some visits coming this weekend, including DJ Lagway coming right back. I mentioned this before. Five-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton from IMG is supposed to be in town this weekend. That is the goal. I said it last week. It would not surprise me one bit if DJ made his way to town for this visit, and that, in fact, is taking place. DJ will be in town to visit, kind of loosely, host Jordan Seaton, tell Jordan Seaton that he needs him to come watch his back. Miles Graham will be in town. Darius Hayes will be in town. Isaiah Williams will be in town. TJ Abrams will be in town. And Kendall Jackson as well. And there'll probably be some others pop up on that. And a couple of uncommitted prospects from the 2024. One committed, one uncommitted. Another coming back, Favor Edwin, out of McDonough, Georgia, offensive tackle. He was here for the Tennessee game. He's coming back for this game. And just recently announced is a wide receiver currently committed to Indiana, 2024 wide receiver Jeremy Bell, who's friends with Josiah Davis out of South Georgia. So he's going to visit. I really don't know if this is maybe just like a backup plan, maybe a guy they're just bringing in to see if, there's a spot kind of at the end and they want to try to make a flip here. But obviously, guys, the big fish right now we're here to talk about is Jordan Seaton. And let's be honest. Also, when I add this to this, because we're going to talk about these offensive linemen, 2025 five-star offensive tackle Solomon Thomas out of Jacksonville will be here this weekend as well. So there's another big offensive line visit. Obviously, it goes without saying, we've all watched the games this year, especially after this last weekend. Offensive lineman has to be on the menu. And in a big way, because we're not getting it done. I'm not here to talk about what coaches need to go or be fired or not fired. That right now we're a little premature for that, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very clearly. Wes, you've said it yourself many times. CJ has loosely hit in on it as much. He doesn't quite say it like Wes does, but we have got to start landing some big time offensive linemen. You want to compete against these big boys in the SEC, not just the Georgias and the Bamas and the top tiers, but we saw what the defensive line of Kentucky was able to do this last weekend, pushing people around. Hell, we saw Charlotte do it at times in their game. Now, granted, that was some of our backup linemen, but backup linemen at the University of Florida should not be getting pushed around by defensive linemen for Charlotte. It should not happen. So, CJ, I'll start with you. How important? I mean, obviously, we've got LJ McCray. We've got Zay Mincy. These are the guys that are left on the board. Is Jordan Seaton the most important recruit left in this cycle?
Yes, by far. We've answered a lot of questions at D-line. And, the secondary, you can say whatever you want to about the secondary recruiting. I'd like to have Zay Mincy, but Jordan Seaton is super, super important. because the only way you're ever going to close the gap is to win in the trenches with that offensive line up front. This has got to be a make it or break it. Like I said, we talk about don't want to call for people's jobs, but you got to feel the pressure if you're an offensive line coach right now for the University of Florida about getting some of these guys because we're getting pushed around, and not all of it's their fault. Obviously, the offensive line recruiting for the University of Florida has been lacking since DJ Humphreys was recruited. Honestly, it hasn't been very, very good. So you need to make an impact there. Not just there. I've never been a big portal guy, but we cannot let what happened this past off season with Mr. Simmons, who's starting left tackle at Ohio State, who's doing really well right now. You cannot let a guy like that get by you again. You have to win these offensive line recruiting battles in the portal, on the trail, because it's the difference in having a good football team and an average to mediocre to bad football team. A lot of this team's problems, and we'll get into them later, can be solved by having a better offensive line. And it's just that simple. It begins up front with those 5 guys. We've got some guys that are coming in. I love Westfall, but we need to get 4 or 5 more guys like Westfall in the recruiting classes consistently.
Everybody needs to be a Westfall.
Well, you can't just get one of these guys every class like him or Kearney and be like, all right, that's good, and then get a bunch of guys like, no offense to our German friend or any of the other guys, Mike Williams and those guys. No offense to any of those other guys that are committed, but you got to get some higher profile guys in the offensive line room. And I don't have the answers on how to do that. I'm not a coach, but you need to, I just know that if you're not performing well at your job consistently, you probably don't need to have that job much longer. And that's kind of how you need to, I think that's how the offensive lineman coaches need to approach these recruiting battles from now going forward, that this really is going to affect my job going forward of how well we recruit these offensive linemen.
Before we jump to Wes and I get your take on this, Wes, I want to say I don't have a problem getting starting offensive linemen out of the portal. We've talked about it several times before. Offensive linemen can develop late. They're one of the hardest positions to evaluate. You just don't know how a guy's going to develop and what he's going to turn into. I mean, just look at some of the best offense. Like, you look at Osiris, obviously went to Louisiana, wasn't the most coveted offensive lineman in the country. Mazuka, great offensive lineman, second graded guard behind Osiris. He was at Baylor. These are guys that are, they develop, slower. Maybe, you get a guy from another lower rated school, a lower tier school that has developed really well over 1, 2, 3 years. That's fine. Go get them. But like you said, don't miss the boat like you did with the young man that went to Ohio State that we thought we had in the bag, and we kind of drug our feet on the situation. And we're going to get to the portal in a second because a change was made today that's going to impact our portal strategy, and we need to talk about that. But you got to do one or the other. You can't say, well, you know what? I'm going to get a couple of good offensive linemen in recruiting, and then we're going to go get 2 starters in the portal. But then you get to the portal, and you're kind of like, well, we don't know. We're not really sold on that guy. Well, if he's there in a couple of weeks, we'll get him to visit. No. Identify what you need. You've got 100 guys on this army of staff. Watch some damn film and decide if that's the guy you need or not, and get him on campus. Wes, are you about ready to boot this offensive line recruiting into the sun?
The shit is ridiculous. What we saw Saturday is effing ridiculous. I mean, to be what we have been for the last, I'm going to say 10 years, it could be longer, is ridiculous. Even the year we had with Kyle Trask was because Kyle Trask had he had the ability to maneuver in the pocket. When people was like, well, he doesn't know how to move in his pocket, he had to realize like these guys. His I think the 2019 year was I think when he had to look a couple sacks against Auburn, he was fumbling. It was like, well, he hadn't played in a while, but it was because he had to maneuver in the pocket. This has been a problem since that year when Munchausen came in and we couldn't even scrimmage in spring practice because our offensive line has been that bad and that horrible recruiting. And it's stupid. It's stupid because the way you have to win in the SEC, we have outlined for everybody that has listened to this podcast for years, is the trenches from both sides of the football. You can't survive in the SEC if you don't have good offense. And you don't have to have the best. You don't have to be the Philadelphia Eagles with the best offensive line in football. If you have an average offensive line,
thought you were going to say with a bunch of Georgia guys.
No. No, they don't have any Georgia guys on the offensive line.
I know. I was just giving you a hard time because all the Georgia, team you picked has all the damn Bulldogs on it.
But and it's to the point where you don't even have to have a great offensive line. You just have to have an offensive line that is average, and that's something to watch the NFL and watching college. If you have an average offensive line, you can be successful. What the thing you can't survive with if you have a below average offensive line, you can play a team like Kentucky that's developed guys in their system for 4 years, fifth year seniors or whatever that's going to dominate because your offensive line is below average. We don't have to have an average offensive line. You can survive with an and I know a lot of people, and this is going to take me to a larger point. I know a lot of people are upset or pissed off with Billy's offense, and so am I. I'm one of those people that think we need a new offensive coordinator. But I don't know how to, even if he had a great offensive scheme, it wouldn't work. We could have Caleb Williams. We could get Kyle Trask back. You're not going to survive with this piece of shit of offensive line that we have. Is bad. They move Mazuka from left guard to right guard. Hirsch illustrated he was the second best ranked guard in the country, but we moved him right. To me, besides left tackle, I think right guard is just as essential as left tackle. Well, after left tackle is essential as right beside the right tackle, other than center and left guard. And then I mean, I've chronicled Kingsley last year. People were saying on different podcasts, and we get Kingsley back. Kingsley is not average. The thing we were counting on Kingsley to come back because Slaughter was so bad, and it's still, to me, is like this. It's still not close. The offensive line is atrocious. We need to. I'm glad that AR is coming. Or not AR, excuse me. That DJ is coming back to this weekend to be here with Seaton. But you can't survive this way, and it's hard to get great offensive line in the portal because they're comfortable where they're at, knowing that they're draft stock and knowing that they're going to get picked where they're going to get picked. You have to go to those lower schools. Or be lucky like we had when Billy transferred to Florida and he was able to get some guy that went in the second round is playing good for the Buffalo Bills at right guard. That is a rare commodity to get somebody that's as far as offensive line. You can get a D tackle, you can get a DN, you can get a linebacker, you can get a receiver, you can get a quarterback. You can get these guys at different positions, but as far as O-line, it's hard. And we've put ourselves in a position and I was having a dialogue with one of my close friends, Swap King, he be on message boards as well, about, okay, is it really Billy's fault and his staff's fault? If they don't get Seaton, it's their fault because they're doing the same thing we said about what Heavy C was doing and what lead us to now. Because even in their 2 years, their guys are only going to just be sophomores unless you got a senior. But then you get in a guy that didn't cut it where he was at as a junior, senior, 5-year guy at another school. So you don't know what you're getting in that guy that has been developed by another staff. So I can't put all the onus on them, but they have to improve. As I said last year and the year before, they have to get these top-notch guys. If not, I feel sorry for DJ. I told my friend this when we was texting this week because in my depressed state, I had to uplift him. I feel sorry for DJ. Like, seriously, like, what is he coming to us for? He can be Caleb Williams. He's not going to survive behind his offense. We saw Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when his offensive line was out. The best quarterback that I don't know if you guys make knowledge with him, but as far as talent-wise, to make shit happen out of nowhere, Patrick Mahomes. He got slaughtered with no offensive line in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady because he had nothing. You can't run, you can't throw. There's no time to do anything with our offense. It's the most essential group because you have 5 guys that have to play as one. You can have a DB make a mistake. You can have a guard make a mistake. It's going to flash more. You can have a left tackle. If he makes a mistake, it flashes more, and it's more of importance every down than what they have to do. Down in and down out. And if we can't get that fixed, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And people didn't think that Ethan White and Micah Tarquin leaving were as important as it is. But I wish we had Ethan White and Micah Tarquin on the roster right now.
I wish we had definitely Tarquin would be a great one to have. Obviously, Ethan had some issues of his own, and that's for another day. Look, you nailed it though. Hey,
healthy Ethan.
Yeah, healthy Ethan. Look, this is a big boy recruiting battle, and this is a guy you need. This is a guy you can, when he walks in, you go, you know what? You could be starting out there next year. Absolutely. If you come in and work, it's there to be had. But this is a big boy recruiting battle, and you know you need it. And and the young man is open. So this is one that you know, whatever you're offering out to a Jeremiah Smith or somebody like that, you better put a big boy offer on the table for this young man right here. Because to me right now, sorry, I'm going to say this, and some people are probably going to say, Hirsch, you're crazy. This young man right here, getting a lineman like this is more important to me than a Jeremiah Smith. Just going to say it like it is. We have receivers.
Thank you, Hirsch. Thank you.
We have receivers.
We
have running backs. We have skilled players. Do we probably need another tight end because all our tight ends are falling faster than flies? Sure, absolutely. Go find one in the portal, recruit a second one. I don't care. But this young man right here, 5-star offensive tackles that are genuinely interested in your program, seal the damn deal.
Facts.
Do what you got to do to get it done. I don't want to hear, oh, well, we gave it our best shot, but it just wasn't in the cards. The young man liked somebody else. He visited Tennessee and people like that. We whipped Tennessee's ass. So don't tell me that you can't out-recruit Tennessee for offensive linemen. You've already lost 2 premier offensive linemen to South Carolina.
Lost them to Miami last year.
Well, that's a whole different ballgame, and I'm not going to go the pancake situation. Obviously, that young man got if that's the kind of money we're talking about, maybe it's ridiculous. But at some point, you got to say, hey, we got to do what we got to do. You can't just keep losing them. You've got to win one of these battles. Talking about the portal change that came out today, as far as the fall portal goes, and this affects this staff greatly because we've seen how this staff operates in the portal. They're a little slow to the jump. The fall portal window will now be reduced from 45 days to 30 days. That's 1 month to make your decision. Get your guys on campus and get them in the fold. That means you can't be waiting around doing evaluations for 2 weeks to see if a guy is a good program fit or not. You need to be doing these evaluations in November.
Do them like Dion and just get them on campus.
Yeah, man.
And if they ain't working out, tell them, hey, in the spring, time to go.
Look,
never mind.
If you don't, have an idea what you have on your roster and what you need by the end of this season, because I'm just average Joe sitting in Georgia, and I can tell you right now, we need some offensive linemen. We need a tight end, at least one. Probably a veteran wide receiver, a running back probably wouldn't hurt, given we don't know what camp. These are just off the top of my head. I'm not
Another
even
safety. Yeah,
exactly. The safety room. Obviously, it looks like we're already going to be one short there in a room that's already low on bodies. Yeah. So you might want to have guys watching tape of guys playing on Saturdays right now saying, you know what? And don't hit me with we can't talk to them till they enter the portal because because it's happening at every school in the country. A guy knows a guy. He sends a text message. It's what happens. So if you've got the blinders on and don't think it's going down, it's going down, guys. Anyway, so just the thing to keep in mind. So all of y'all that listen to the show and you ask questions about what's going on in the portal, obviously now the portal window is tighter, so action's going to be fast. I mean, you're going to see stuff going down really fast in January as far as the portal goes. So hopefully Billy and the boys, I mean, they got a full plate right now. Let's be honest. Billy's going to have a full plate at the end of this damn season. And we're about to talk about that some more. But his portal process needs to be up here high on the line of things, because we all know that schedule ain't getting any easier next year than it is this year. It's brutal. You better have some dogs to go with the guys that you already got that are busting their ass. And maybe some of the ones that we saw this weekend that aren't, maybe they're the guys whose roster spots are about to get taken. So let's cruise in and talk about this for a second, guys. We've talked about the offensive line situation, so we're not going to harp on that much longer. Given what we saw against Kentucky, and CJ, I'll start with you. What are the biggest changes Billy needs to make going forward? A, now, and B, after the season? Because obviously you're not going to – people are saying, well, why can't he just change offensive quarters now? You're not going to do a full install of an offense game 5. You're just not. It's not realistic. So what is your takes of what he needs to do now to show the fan base, I get it, and what does he need to do after the season? And you're right.
I don't know what he could do now, and because I don't think really anything will satisfy most of the vocal part of the fan base. I think there's a large majority of the fan base that is very quiet, and is just kind of letting this play out, kind of being sensible. But like the vocal people we've seen on Twitter since Saturday, you know, I don't know what you're going to do to satisfy them, because letting Russ Callaway call the plays isn't going to satisfy a lot of people. They want a splash hire, which you can't make a splash hire in the middle of the season. You can't make any hire in the middle of the season. You've already got a transfer quarterback that's already learned a brand new playbook from what he was learning. Do you really want to make him learn another one? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I just think you've got to look at your offense, and I think they're going to do this in the sense that there are bigger plays to be had. There's got to be some stuff that's got to change. Number one, I think all the motion and stuff. I'm not saying get rid of the motion, because you see it working in a lot of the other places. You see the Miami Dolphins use it. You see the 49ers use it. But you've got to make the motion mean something, right? Like, so when Ricky goes on the orbit motion and he runs that jet sweep, you got to at least hand him the ball once in a while. You know, that can't always be he's going left to right, right to left, and nothing ever comes of it, because you're not faking anybody out at that point anymore, because everybody can kind of expect, they just send them. That's just window dressing. And when you've got a defense that can kind of sit back, load the box, and say, I don't care, they're not going to hand it to him anyway, it doesn't help anything. So I think that's the main number one, is you've got to make this motion mean something. Run some quick pop passes to the wide receiver on a jet, run a reverse, run a pitch, run some wildcat, do something. Do something to make this motion really mean something. Secondly, I think you need to add more wide receivers in the pattern. I think that all this loaded, too many tight ends is not helping us, especially when you've only got Arliss, who's the only real receiving threat you have at tight end. So you end up with just 2 wide receivers in the pattern. It doesn't seem like it's doing much, because, they're not exactly – you've got, unfortunately, Caleb Douglas is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks now. I think Andy Jean's going to work in that spot. Marcus Burke should be back. But Andy Jean getting that spot, I'm curious to see what he can do, because I think he brings a lot more speed to that position. So maybe something changes there. But you're running 2 wide receivers, and I don't want anybody to take this the absolute wrong way, because Ricky Pearsall is a great wide receiver. But in a lot of programs, especially the ones that we compete against, Ricky Pearsall isn't usually a wide receiver 1. That's not very common. So that's kind of where we're at, because, obviously our last staff didn't recruit great wide receivers. We recruited guys with concrete shoes, and most of them aren't even here anymore. I think that Eugene Trey Wilson getting back would make the world of difference in this offense. just basically on the one drive we did have him against Tennessee. It made the motion and stuff mean a lot more, did a lot more with it with him. I don't know if that's how they feel about Ricky Pearsall. I see a lot of people complaining about Trevor Etienne not getting the ball enough. I understand your frustration, but Trevor's got to learn how to pass protect. Trevor can't pass protect. He's not going to be in on the designs as much.
Also, because this just came out while we're in the middle of doing this show, Trevor's banged up pretty significantly and is listed as questionable on this week's depth chart, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, Trevor probably hasn't been at full strength since the Tennessee game. That's probably a lot of the reason you didn't see him much in the Charlotte game. The guy did a lot for us against Tennessee. And like I said, it's just one of those things where he can't pass protect as well as Montrell can. I mean, and I'm not saying that Montrell's an all-world pass protecting blocking running back.
He's just better.
He's just better. I think they would rather have Trevor get a lot more of the snaps. But what do? If you have a position now where you have Trevor in and he can't pass protect, then they're going to obviously know that he's running the football because you're not going to use him, or they know he's going out on a route. So they can automatically check him off the list on a defense once they watch the film, which isn't good. You can't ever have a guy in the offense that the defense can look at and automatically take out of a play. So there's a lot of things that have to be done. Some people talk about taking more shots down the field. I think we took a few more against Charlotte. We took a few more against Kentucky. There was a few of them that, just didn't work. You guys dropped the ball, or there was one with Douglas where he kind of lost the ball on the deep route.
Mertz overthrew a couple.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as simple as line up and run 4 verticals and just chuck it down the field, especially when you look at the offensive line and not being able to pass protect long enough for Graham Mertz to get the ball down the field. So I'm not really sure what to do, and I'll put it like this: there's a lot that's been made about Billy Napier and the job he's doing by a lot of people that really don't know what they're talking about. They just like to hear themselves talk. It would be like me being on an airplane and trying to tell the pilot how to fly the plane. I don't know shit about flying an airplane. And most of you don't know shit about running a football program. So I would probably go ahead and just shut my mouth for a little while. If you're mad, I get it. Cool. Awesome. I understand totally. I don't like losing either, but there's no reason to get this upset over something we really have no control over.
And guys, we've said it before. We're going to say it again. Billy's not going anywhere this season. He's not going anywhere next season.
Urban's not coming back to be the head coach.
Urban's not coming through those doors. Steve Spurrier doesn't want to come down and be offensive coordinator for the rest of the season. He likes his golf time too much. All these hypotheticals, and I know some of it is just people blowing smoke. I get it. I'm with you guys. I've seen the better days. I've lived through the Georgia Southern game. We've lived through all of this crap, and we're tired of it, man. We're freaking tired of it. I watched the first 2 drives, and I was about ready to turn my TV off because I saw what was happening. And you could tell after 2 drives where that game was going without a shadow of a doubt, because one team wanted it and the other team didn't. And unfortunately, our team didn't. And I said it from the beginning. A lot of people, I got in some conversations with some people there. I said, man, I don't like that noon game. And they're like, oh, we'll take whatever we can get, not to have to play a night game at Kentucky. And I'm like, well, at least I've watched us for the last, I don't know, it doesn't matter what the coach is. For whatever reason, we go on the road for a 12 o'clock game. We don't wake up until 2 o'clock. Period. I mean, we do not play football good. We do it against Vandy. We do it against Kentucky. We do it against Missouri. It don't matter which team it is. But if it's a 12 o'clock game, I can assure you we're not waking up until 2 o'clock. It's just ridiculous. And my whole thing is, and Wes, I want to get some more opinions on you as far as what I asked CJ as well. But this is one thing. This is my biggest issue. Where are the leaders? Who are they? I know it's a young team. Trust me, I get it. It's a young team, but I need to see some fire out of somebody. You know, you keep seeing all the old guys now that the Swamp Kings documentary has come out, and all of our guys are like, oh, we got to get things back to the way it used to be. When? Where? Who? Because I don't see anybody on the sideline getting in somebody's ass. Most of y'all that listen to this podcast have played football sometime or another. You've been on the sidelines. You've watched football your whole lives. You understand what I'm talking about. I'd give anything to see a Jim McElwain ripping Kelvin Taylor's ass on the sideline at this point, just to see some emotion out of somebody. That's what bothers me, is where are the people that are upset? Where are the people like, you know, hey, call a damn timeout, bring the team over to the sidelines and rip their ass upside down and say, get your heads in the game. Something. But it's like, you know what? We're going to go 3 and out, and we'll be all right with it, guys. There's plenty of time. Oh, it's late in the third quarter. This clip was on Twitter going around today. It's late in the third quarter. We're down 30 to 14. It's 3rd and 2. We're going to run a counter because there's no sense of urgency whatsoever to try to score these points. You know, where is the fire? And that's what I need to see. That's something that I could see mid-season. I don't know if Billy's got it in him, though. I don't. You see that on Coach Armstrong. He's the one exception that you see the fire out of. But it's not, to me, it's not translating. I'll see Caleb Banks on the field get excited to make a big play, but snatch somebody's damn helmet when they're not and saying, look, you make that damn tackle next time. Number 10, number 6, Shamar's the last couple of games has looked real like he's been reading his press clippings. And that's the kind of stuff that's bothering me. There's not anyone seemingly in the locker room saying you're not as good as you think you are. And until you are, quit acting like that. Wes, I asked this question to CJ. I'm going to pose the same thing to you. What can he do now? And what does he need to do going forward after this season to gain the confidence of this fan base that he can right this ship?
You've seen so many games now, a quarter of the season or more, a bit over a quarter to play 12 games. You got to adjust to your offensive line. Quick game. The routes that CJ were talking about, these lone developing routes with just 2 receivers, our offensive line doesn't hold up enough to give Merce the time. When he plants, and it's usually off of, and I like the design. Every offensive coordinator in the world, I mean, that I've ever seen, because I watch a lot of football. I just don't watch my team, which is college or NFL. I watch everybody. So I feel like I'm qualified to say this. Every offensive coordinator, you even hear the announcer say it, whether it's Jesse Palmer, whether it's Tony Romo, whether it's whoever you're watching on Saturday or Sunday, when you get to the 40 or 50-yard line, coaches like to take a shot. We loved it with Spurrier, Rita Anthony, Jacques Green, Ike Hilliard, Jabbar Gaffney, Andre Caldwell. We used to, when we get to the 40, 50, whether it's a turnover or whatever, momentum change, stop somebody on 4th down, we get to, but our plays can never get developed. So I don't know if the offense, if it's an offensive problem, because the offensive line, we can't do those long developing plays to even see the guy come open. So we have to adjust and say, we got to do a lot of quick game. We got to throw more slants. We got to do more digs. We got to do more of this and that. We got to do the goal route or the fade that CJ was talking about that we shouldn't do for verticals. Maybe it's just, hey, Andy Jean, Eugene Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, just run a go route, run a fade. We're just going to throw it to you because we can't do those long play action developing routes because offensive line doesn't give Merce the proper time to make those plays happen. Screens, where the screens at? I hated Nussmeier and McElwain's offense, but they did run some pretty good screens. We got to incorporate that. If your offensive line is that shitty, which our offensive line is that shitty, you got to let that defensive line come and do their things. I would love to see 5 or 6 screens because we all have alluded to Eugene Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, Montreal Johnson, Trevor Etienne are our best players. That's 2 running backs. If our offensive line is not helping them in the run game, run some damn screens. Not the slant out screen, but some creative screens where we let those DNs feel like they already doing, killing our quarterback. Let them come on through and run the screens. Those are things that can factor into a football game. You see Kansas City do that a lot. They're the best at it. And I'm saying that because I see Eric Bieniemy I'm a Washington fan. You guys know that. And I see him incorporating my offense in Washington. And it works. Because my offensive line in Washington is shitty. So I'm seeing a smart guy say, okay, I got a shitty offensive line. So let me do some screens because my offensive line is not that good. Let those guys come in. That's how you tire them out. That's how you get what you need when you run the screen game. You tire them out like, dang. Or you quick game. You run those digs. You run those slants. You run those go balls. They tired because they're like, dang, we don't know how to time what we're doing because they're getting the ball out quick. And we're tired. Okay, let me go to the sideline. They just ran 2-3 plays, and I'm tired because they're getting the ball out at one point. We can't hold the ball for 3 seconds. It is not Mertz's problem because Mertz is when he throws the ball, he's making good decisions with the ball. So it's not a Mertz problem. I know everybody was on Mertz before the season start.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to say that I do think that Mertz is making his share of mistakes as well, and not maybe. I think he's a little too predetermined where he's going with the ball.
That too, because I saw some people open that he missed, and I'm not saying what I mean.
But maybe it's a mental thing because he knows the offensive lines are not going to give him.
My defense is Mertz has to know where he's going with the ball before
he doesn't have
time to.
I will.
He doesn't
play
have,
the counter.
And even though we love our offensive, he's not Kyle Trask. What I mean by this, Kyle Trask had a bad offensive line. We can, but it was average. The offensive line was average. It's not what it is now, but what Kyle Trask had was a Kyle Pitts, a Kadarius Toney, where he felt like he could make throws and say, my guy's better than your guy. Mertz doesn't know if his guys are that better than the other guy because they're young and there's a trust factor. That this is year 2 Kyle Trask that had, okay, I know who Kadarius Toney is now. I'm playing with Kadarius Toney for 2 years. I know who Grimes is. It's 2 years. I know we all knew who Kyle Pitts was. This is 2 years. So he doesn't have the relationship that Kyle Trask had in year 2 to say, I can throw a ball up and know that those guys are going to get it, and I can maneuver in the pocket. And that's what I mean by Mertz. You have to have that in your back of your mind. Like, I can't even get, it's times Mertz can't even get to his drop, his back foot. By the time he gets his back foot, there's pressure in his freaking face. And he's not the most mobile guy, but he's the guy that he's a Kyle Trask-esque, and he can maneuver in the pocket. He's the type of guy that can maneuver in the pocket and make plays.
And we've seen him. He's done it plenty. The problem is
he's done it.
He always goes right. That was pointed out. Like he's
good when he goes right. Every quarterback that's right-handed.
Here's the thing, like it's just not his strength, and that's something else. It's just, why are we going? If we go empty backfield, I know we're not getting anything. It's almost like guaranteed to me. I don't even understand why I saw us do it early in the game. It's third down and we go empty backfield. I said, well, he's going to get pressured. And Mark Stoops isn't stupid. He saw it. The guy had to be like, oh, empty backfield. That's what you want to do.
It limits the offense because we have to have leave guys. We have to leave a tight end or a running back in the chip. Because if we don't leave them in the chip or a pass pro or in pass pro, even is at times when we even leave the running back or the tight end in the chip or pass pro, we still get blown up. It's that horrible that I saw a play with Mazuka and George, and it's like I think it might have been the play where Mertz went on his back foot and slipped. I mean, and after the season, I'm gonna get off that because y'all covered it. I've done enough talking about it. After the season, we all know what has to be done. You have to get a new offensive coordinator in, and you have to get some good offensive linemen in. How you get offensive linemen in, I don't know, because even if we want Seaton, and it's probably a 30% chance if Seaton is all world. Say Seaton leaves after year 3, I don't see him coming in and be the best offensive tackle, left tackle, right tackle in football. But if Barber comes back, say he moves inside, I don't care. We saw with Martez Ivory. He was a good left guard when he didn't start his freshman year. But sometimes you can get those 5 stars and move them inside. But because that's to me the worst type of pressure to a quarterback, inside pressure from the guards. Because you can't step up.
That's where maybe you slide him to right tackle and you slide George inside, where we all kind of believe is where he needs to be anyway.
Because quarterbacks want to climb the pocket. A quarterback like Mertz, who's not a scrambler, we all just alluded to how he likes to go right.
Yeah,
they want to climb in the pocket, but he can't climb in the pocket because Slaughter, Kingsley, Mazuka, George, they're getting blown up.
The problem is you hampered yourself with your strategy, your recruiting strategy, and your portal strategy. Now, obviously, we know we lost Goodwin right before the season, and a lot of people say, "Well, we don't know what that would ended up." Trust me, from the things we heard about Goodwin, he was not taking his weight serious. I don't believe this is a young man that was going to be that much of a difference maker anyway. But it doesn't help. You lose Waits. Now, Waits is on his way back, but he's still coming back from a torn Achilles tendon. He's on the depth chart.
Aaron Rodgers recovery where he listens to Dolphins mate and it sped him up.
But, I mean, and maybe Waits plays great. Maybe that allows you maybe to slide George inside if need be. But I don't really think – I mean, it's a problem all the way around, and it's not going to fix itself mid-season. It's just not. This is not a situation that's going to fix itself mid-season.
Yeah, I don't understand. And like you guys said, I don't understand the empty sets. I've never understood an empty set with a quarterback that has no threat of beating you with his legs unless they're in prevent.
He's not
unless they're in prevent coverage.
He's not going to run a draw. You're not. It's not like, I mean, and it doesn't help. You've got young guys out there running the wrong routes or running their
They're not running deep enough on their routes.
Yes, and that was the one, and you know which one I'm talking about. Marlis Boardingham. It's fourth and 4. He runs and if you look at the breakdown, and shout out to all the guys that do the breakdown videos, they do a fantastic job. And I appreciate them because it lets me go back and watch some of the stuff and see, here's what the problem was. The play call was actually not bad.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 things on that 4th down call that went wrong. Montrell Johnson was open on a wing route, on a swing route immediately that Graham never turned and looked for him on. Okay, but Boardingham, if he cuts his route up instead of running it flat as a damn piece of paper, he pulls the linebacker's not able to cut the route and knock the ball away. And that's just simple football knowledge.
And
I mean, that is just basic.
I'll also say you got to have that instinct if you're playing football, especially at this level. I need half a yard to get this. When you catch that football, you're
dragging a man. You're doing whatever you got to do.
You get your half a yard.
It's called awareness on Madden.
You've got to have a mindset.
It's awareness on Madden.
It's that dog. You know what I'm saying?
And
we don't have enough guys that have.
And this is where the young team comes into play. And I get it, and we all get that. We've said it the whole time. This was a young team. They were going to make their share of mistakes. Like I said, it goes back to my thing. Where are the leaders? Where is the guy saying, next time you got to run that damn route the right way? Now, maybe they're doing it in the locker room. That's great. But I just don't see that. I don't see it because I've watched too many teams. I've watched too many teams. We watched these guys that are in the Swamp Kings documentary. We saw them on the field and in the sideline setting the tone with their attitude. And nobody on this team is setting a tone with their attitude. It's just not happening. I see individuals getting excited about individual plays, but I don't see individuals getting pissed off when your safety continues to miss tackles. Your linebacker is not where he needs to be on run plays. If you can't do the job, put someone else on the field that can. Great. They're not doing it in practice. The coaches see everything that happens in practice. Fine.
He's saying Bryce Thornton. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Yeah, Mr. Mitchell is listed as questionable on the depth chart this weekend as well.
It's to the point, and you guys have heard this a million times. You either coach it or you allow it. All right. So if you're coaching it, and they're not doing it, and you continue to put them out there, now you're allowing.
At this point, no, I don't blame most of the players at this point. You can't.
No.
And
And the
I've
thing
said
about it,
one
the
year
thing
on this
about it is
podcast.
a lot of the guys that he has brought in, and some other, and I've heard this and I've seen it, they've played well, but it's at a point where, and it's hard because we've seen. I remember Keanu Neal. I remember Marcus May struggling at Alabama, and then by the time when Collins got here, their junior and senior year, I was like, oh snap! Like I see the 5-star from Marcus May. I see the 5-star from Keanu Neal. Like they were different from. So I don't want to say that it's kind of catch-22. You I see Mitchell. And I'm gonna say his name. I see him missing tackles and doing different things, and it makes me want to see Bryce Thornton because I want to see a younger guy, and I know how
I want to
Mitchell
see the
got
next
it.
man up. I want to see the next guy. If you can't get it done,
but I
get me
remember
the next guy on the field.
Yeah, but it's the catch to it hurts, and I could be wrong, but he may never get it. But the catch is I remember that Alabama. It was like 2011 or 10 or whatever. And I remember seeing Marcus May and Keanu Neal struggle at Alabama. Then I remember seeing them in not 2012, excuse me, 2014 or 15. And then I remember seeing Marcus May get the finished product of May and Neal. And okay. I saw them struggle as freshmen and sophomores and they got it. So I don't know.
I'm not saying you have to pull them for the whole game.
We're not saying they're never going to be good. Nobody's ever said that, especially these freshmen and sophomores. We don't know. They've still got years left to play football. Yeah. But you can't let them keep doing the wrong thing and then leaving them out there like it's okay.
And not seeing the freshmen there.
It's accountability.
Good coaches like Mark Stoops is going to say, attack that guy all day long.
Right.
Yeah. He doesn't know where he's supposed to be. He's out of position constantly. Or they spot it. Oh, he's scared to put his head in there and make the tackle.
It's just he looks unathletic.
And I'm not trying to just single out Mitchell. Like we said, Shamar has not tackled well the last 2 games.
Jalen Kimber's not tackling well. Jason Marshall's not tackling well.
Hey, look,
the DBs are terrified to tackle.
I love Shamar James. I think he is the best guy on this defense.
I put more Scooby on this than Shamar.
But look, I'll tell you right now. Shamar, or one of y'all, whoever's missed the tackle, you're sitting out the next series. Derek Wingo, grab your helmet, get on the field.
I like that, Hirsch. I like that.
Listen, it's a mindset.
And I'm just saying, hey, if you cannot get it done right now, next man up. We've said it.
Yeah, that's it. It's holding you accountable.
CJ
got to have a mindset.
CJ said it, and you kind of backed it up too. And I like what you guys just said. It's not that you don't have to be benched the whole game because as your junior,
it's an attitude change.
Yeah.
It's just hey, look, you're not so good that we can't sit you out,
and we're losing anyway. And we're getting pummeled anyway. Yeah. So why not see Bryce Thornton?
What are we going to do? We give up another 75-yard run?
And look at another 20 yards this way.
I'm with y'all.
There's another old saying that football doesn't build character, it reveals it, right?
I'm with you guys.
You need to look at kids and say, you're not getting it done. You're playing like crap, sit on the bench, and you need to have kids that take that as a challenge
and sometimes
to get better. And if they don't, you don't want them on your football team.
And look,
that's it.
I'm gonna use an example right now. God, we keep bringing up Dion, but I'm gonna bring it up right now. And our old buddy Cormani McClain. Dion called out Cormani McClain publicly for a couple of weeks. And Cormani McClain went out this week and played very well against the good USC offense. And sometimes that's what it takes. You got to tell a man, you need to look in the mirror because you're not getting it done. And if it's sitting him down 1 series, 2 series, a half, whatever it is, you know what? You've done enough today. Why don't you go, we'll talk about, you will have a chance to redeem yourself starting Monday. But for now, next man up. All right, guys. We're not breaking down Vandy and whatever they are and aren't. We're just going to simply say it. 4:00 Saturday. Wes, what's your score prediction? Florida versus Vandy.
I think we don't handle wins very well, but we usually bounce back.
We got to worry about that this week.
Yeah, it's weird. We really kind of handle losses and change that way, and then we play well at home. I think he's 8-2 at home, but I'm not mistaken. So I'll go.
17-point spread.
And I'm gonna go with the 17-point spread. I'm gonna give you 27-10.
Yeah, you're on high. You're on crack. CJ.
21-7.
I'm gonna give it
21-7.
to.
All right. 31-21, because I think this Vandy team can.
They don't have Davis, do they? Is Davis going back over there?
I don't know.
Yeah, he going to join Vandy.
Is he going back to play with Vanderbilt?
He said he wants some more.
Vandy got a quarterback that can run the ball though, and that bothers me because we usually until like I've said this to some other people, until I see us play sound against running quarterbacks, I'm gonna believe we can't play sound against running quarterbacks. Hopefully that's something it'll be good practice for some of the guys we're gonna face going forward. But I don't know, man. I do think we'll score some points this week, but I'm a little worried we're gonna give some up too. Hopefully we put them away and some guys can get some rest, because then the meat of the schedule is about to really get to us, guys. All right. That's enough. That's enough negativity, guys. Hopefully we see some big steps going forward this weekend. If not, could be a really long week. But it's that time of the week again, guys. It's time. Week 6 Pick EmS. Last week, Hirsch continues to hold the crown, guys. 7-3 for Hirsch, 6-4 for CJ, 6-4 for Wes. Duke let CJ down.
I'm sorry, Duke quarterback got hurt. I'm sorry, it's my fault, Duke. I apologize. And now y'all are gonna lose to Florida State.
Andy picked Arkansas against A&M. Wes learned his lesson about picking Arkansas last year. So, but Wes thought South Carolina was going to go into Neyland and do something, and you know.
Man, we got Arkansas fans are so mad. They're worse than us. They want to commit aquatic homicide.
I saw that. If y'all want to fire y'all's coach, we will take him as our.
I would love Sam Pittman. Well, you could
Sam Pittman. I would hire Sam Pittman. I would go pack Rob Sale's house up.
I'd take him out to
Me
lunch.
And that kid that went to UCF or whatever it was, that the damn kid with the moving truck. I'll get him, and we'll go pack Sam Pittman's stuff up and move him into Rob Sale's house overnight. It ain't even going to be. All right, guys. That leaves it on the season. Hirsch, 35-15. Wes and CJ both 31-19. 4 games back. They're going to try to close the gap this weekend. I don't see it happening, but let's roll with it, boys. All right, first game on the docket. The undefeated Maryland Terrapins at Ohio State. Ohio State, I ain't sold on them, but I don't know if Maryland's got the juice. Wes, who can do it?
I'm going to take Ohio State at home. I want to take Maryland bad, but this is home.
I like Coach Lossley, man. I ain't
even giving a thought to Maryland. Give me Ohio State.
Oh, CJ said, don't even wait. I'm not even wait for you to call my name. I know who I'm going with.
Ohio State. Maryland
Take Ohio State, the points, the everything. All right. LSU coming off a bad beat. Travels to Missouri. CJ, who you got?
I hate it from Missouri. Their run's about to end. LSU wins.
Wes?
LSU. Only because they're going to score more than.
Yeah, Missouri ain't played nobody worth talking about. LSU's going to score some points.
Missouri's ranked. It's crazy.
Kelly's feeling a little bit of pressure down there. He's trying to fire some people. All right. The game 3, the new Bama, the running quarterback Bama. We're not throwing passes at Jimbo's Texas A&M. Jimbo tries to get another win, tries to get a win on Saban. I don't know there. Wes, who you got?
I told y'all last week that I like Max Johnson. Ever since what he did, he just took what was there.
We nailed that pick.
Yeah, he's not a spectacular quarterback. He just does the right thing. His dad was an NFL player for years, so it's in him. But I think Nick Saban is about to make a run. So maybe he's back to that old losing September, never lose again. Nick Saban. I'm gonna go with Bama.
CJ.
Yeah, last week I messed up. I didn't know that that the Hogs and A&M were playing in the Cowboys Stadium. I thought they were playing at Arkansas. That's my fault.
That's my fault then. I'm the one that said at Arkansas last week.
Yeah, no, had I know they were playing in the neutral
They
site.
always play there.
I didn't.
I forgot. I don't pay attention.
I didn't realize that. I just looked at what ESPN.
Yeah, they played in the Cowboys Stadium.
I was
like,
that's the yearly thing.
Okay, yeah, Jerry Jones's team. I got it. Yeah, give me Bama. I know Jimbo pulled it off a little while ago, but again, I just feel like Alabama's got enough defensive firepower to really set in on these guys.
If one thing I can count on is Jimbo shit in the bed against Saban, give me Bama. I think it'll be a tight little ball game. I think it will be because Bama's not blowing anybody out. I just don't see it. But until they learn how to throw the football a little bit more. All right. Game 4, man. Notre Dame's going against the gauntlet here all of a sudden. They, a couple at the beginning of the season, this didn't look so bad. But Notre Dame at Louisville. CJ.
All right. Well, I've been let down by Notre Dame, and then they win the next week. Now they're playing the Redbirds. You know what? Give me Notre Dame. I'll take the Domers. They finally end Louisville's streak here.
Louisville's at home?
It is at Louisville.
So they just left Duke, and now they're going at Louisville.
Two hard-fought games in a row, man.
And it's crazy. I like Freeman so much. But Louisville didn't let me down last time. This is my win over CJ right here. Let me get Louisville.
Oh. Unfortunately, you're battling the wrong guy.
Gotta conquer that. I gotta
get battling for the wild card spot. Yeah, man. I ain't sold on Louisville being able to score enough points to win this game, even though I did say I thought Louisville was sneaky good to start the season. But Notre Dame won a hard-fought battle. Hartman didn't play his best last weekend. I think he breaks out of that this weekend and puts some points up on the board in the Domers roll. All right, here's Arkansas back on our docket again, just because
I'm sick of
they have the ability to beat anybody any given Saturday. But Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, man, what a win, what a comeback to win that ball game. Is there an emotional letdown this weekend, though, Wes?
No, I've decided to never pick Arkansas ever again. That's what they did to me last year, and it's worked this far this year, and I'm gonna stick with it. Let's go, Lane Kiffin.
All right, CJ.
Yeah, give me Ole Miss. Why not? I don't like Ole Miss, but I'll take them.
I'm picking Arkansas to lose every game until Sam Pittman is our new offensive line coach. Go Lane. That was a great ball game, though, man.
It was. It was a lot of fun.
I don't care much about old Lane, but I love a good college football game, and that was some fun watching right there. Until the old boy got punked on the field because he wants to run into LSU football.
Yeah, I fell off the goalpost drunk. It was
great. It was pretty good times down there. All right. The Syracuse Orange Men, undefeated on the season, travel to Chapel Hill to play North Carolina. CJ.
Give me the Tar Heels.
Wes.
Give me Drake May.
UNC it is. I'm with you. I know who Drake May plays for, son. I got you. UNC for me as well. I don't. Syracuse hadn't done anything to make me that excited. It's just the best records on that we could find this week to call some games.
They played well versus Clemson this week.
Washington State at UCLA. Wes, who you got? Cougs are surprising some people out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cougars.
CJ.
I think UCLA's got a lot of questions right now at the freshman quarterback. Not saying he's a bad player. I think he's just a freshman and he's doing some growing pains. So give me Wazoo. Give me the Cougs.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Washington State it is. I do think Moore is going to be a really good one once he puts it all together. But this is and Florida fans need to think about that. The ones that are going to want DJ Lagway starting quarterback next year. When you start a freshman quarterback, and that's out in the in the Pac-12 where they don't play defense.
Well, they might be the best conference this year, but yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, you want to try to start a freshman in the SEC, you're going to ask for trouble. All right. Our good friends in Orlando, UCF Knights, travel to play Kansas. Kansas got knocked out of the ranks of the unbeaten against Texas. CJ, who you picking here? UCF's finding a little tough road to hoe in the old
they're
Big 12.
Yeah, but I think they can score. I think they could score enough to beat Kansas. I think that's going to be a high-powered ball game. I think they could figure it out. They had the game against Baylor won, but they I don't know what they did.
That was the best play I ever seen in my life.
You take UCF?
Yeah, I'm
quarterback.
UCF.
All right, Wes, who you taking?
Is Kansas quarterback still out? Do you know? They had to
Did he get hurt? He got
Texas.
hurt against Texas. I'm not sure if he's still out or not.
I'm gonna take UCF because I don't know either. That's the only reason I'm taking them because either if the quarterback was starting, I would take Kansas. But I think
whatever. I'm taking Kansas because Baylor's not a good football team, and they lost to Baylor. And this is one time I'm going to use some transitive property, and I just hate UCF, and I'm just going to take any chance I can to say that they suck. So, All right, guys. Now let's talk about it. Two biggest games of the weekend. I think this game right here is going to be an absolute Rocky versus Drago slugfest. Kentucky travels to UGA to play Wes. Who are we taking? Oh, my God. That man didn't even hesitate. He's been thinking about that since Saturday. Did you hear that?
He's going to be really excited during the first half till Georgia comes back and wins.
He's going to message us at halftime. It's over, guys.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep picking everybody against Georgia till they finally.
Georgia's second half team, they take the dogs. It's going to look like all our hopes and dreams are coming true, and Kentucky's
until Brock Bowers breaks one loose.
Until all of a sudden, Mike Bobo realizes at halftime, oh, yeah, I got Brock Bowers. What am I doing?
And that's what I was about to say, and that's why I'm going to pick UGA. It finally clicked this weekend in that second half. Beck finally said, holy smokes, I have the best tight end in college football. Maybe I should use that guy once in a while.
Right.
And once he did, it was a completely different story. Now, do I think Ray Davis and company can go out there and run the football at UGA? Absolutely, I do. The problem is eventually Leary's going to have to throw the ball, unlike he had to do versus us. And I don't think that young man can do enough to win you a football game. So give me UGA at home. If it was at Kentucky, I think it might be a whole different story. All right, guys, the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma at Texas. Texas undefeated. Oklahoma on the up and up. Dylan Gabriel and company. CJ, who you taking?
I'm so excited to watch this game because I love watching this game every year. I'm even more excited because Florida doesn't play till 4, so I can actually sit down and enjoy it. Give me Texas. I don't like it. I'm kind of worried about it because I feel like Oklahoma is better than a lot of people are giving them credit for right now. But I think that Texas.
I think it's all out the window in this game.
I think that Texas can pull it off. I think they can do it this year.
Wes?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the old Clemson boy. He's a defensive coordinator. I think he's going to have something cooked up for that offense against Texas. So I'm going with the Sooners.
Texas might really be back, boys. I reserve the right to say Texas is back until they prove they're not back. And right now, they're doing really good. Give me Texas to beat Oklahoma. I don't like Oklahoma. Never have, never will. So, give me Quentin Ewers and the boys and the Sark.
The Shark, baby.
Sark the Shark. That's it, boys. Those are our picks. They may not be your picks. Once again, don't spend your hard-earned money based on our picks because
no, Prize Picks was not kind to me.
Prize Picks was terrible. It was a terrible week on Prize Picks. Everybody sucked at football this last weekend, except I won some money on the USC Colorado game.
Michael Penix let me down. He didn't.
Oh my God! Yeah, one of their receivers didn't even start.
I didn't play Saturday football. I played Sunday, and I didn't
do much better on Sunday either.
It was a bad week all the way around.
I did good on baseball. I bet on some baseball. I won like $15. So baseball.
$15, baby. That was lunch. CJ bought his wife a sandwich.
That's right, baby. I would have won more if Michael King and the Yankees didn't let me down.
Good God. Betting on the Yankees.
School Braves. We played this weekend.
All right. All right, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you listening to us vent a little bit. Hopefully, our voice was carrying over to some of y'all's concerns, and y'all are kind of watching and going, yeah, that's what needs to happen. Or, no, that doesn't need to happen. Leave us your thoughts down below on what Billy can do to turn this ship around this season, and maybe some things you want to see besides obviously hiring an offensive coordinator in the offseason. We kind of all know that that's the situation. But until next time, guys, we appreciate you all so much. CJ, what do you got for the guys before we leave?
Just thank you guys so much again for supporting us as creators. Check out our friends at Alma Mater. They still have this black hat with the Pell Era logo on it. I love this hat. This is a really nice hat. They've got a few other designs. It's called their Weekender design. It comes with a rope across the front. They've got it in white, gray, and blue. So check that out too. But thank you guys so much. Check our link out. It helps us out a ton. Also, Hirsch mentioned in the comments, please don't leave comments about your head coaching big board below. I do not care to see who you would like to see Florida hire as the next coach right now. I've seen enough of that this week.
All right, Wes, send us home, man.
Yeah, check the link out in the bottom of the description video. Get your gear from someone who's all Gators, for Gators. It helps us out a lot. And like CJ and Hirsch was just saying, well, I don't think they say this, but go. You saw our picks. Put your picks in the bottom. See how you compare to us. See who knows ball. See if you can catch her, because me and CJ is having a hell of a time trying to run him down. So see if you can run.
Ain't nobody run me down in a season and a half yet, baby.
So see what you can do versus hers. And as always, we love you guys. We hope, like her said, our venting was received. You know, we all feel the same way. We just want to win. We want a good product on the field. We love what we're doing in recruiting. Billy's kind of doing like 2 out of 3. We just want to see progress. We knew this year we were going to be a national championship team, but we wanted to see progress on the field. And right now, we only see one side of the ball doing that. And that's defense. Special teams and offense has been horrendous. So, and those things have got to get fixed. We didn't even touch on special teams, and we're not going to, because I might have.
We know.
It ain't nothing to be said, man.
We know.
I have a stroke tonight if we talk about that. So we're not going to leave that alone. And as always, Vandy is the best medicine right now for us at home, hopefully. So we see what happens. And as always, go Gators.
Go Gators. Beat Vandy.
Go Gators, baby. Catch y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.